Welcome back to another episode of Commander Top 5. Today we'll be checking out my list of the best mono-red commanders. I'm your host Alex. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we begin, let me explain what I base my rankings on. First, I grade off of my play experience. The simplest way to see a commander's power level is to experience it in person. Next, I examine the commander tier list. The tier list is by no means perfect, but it is a great resource for seeing a commander's competitive potential. You can find a link to that tier list in the description below. Lastly, and most obviously, my personal opinion comes into play. I do my best to minimize my personal bias, but I can't entirely prevent it. Don't forget to share your top 5 with me in the comments. Let's get started. Number 5, Jaya Ballard, Task Mage. Jaya Ballard is the textbook definition of a red mage. Her 3 abilities are all about damage and destruction. For 1 red mana and a discard, you can blow up any blue permanent. For 2 mana, you can send 3 damage at any creature or player. And for 7 mana, you can deal 6 damage to all creatures and players. Jaya's abilities make her one of the most versatile mono-red commanders available and help her pick up the number 5 spot on my list. Here are 3 cards I think are essential to a great Jaya Ballard build. First off is Distorting Lens. This handy artifact can help you turn any permanent blue, which makes Jaya's first ability way more abusable. Next up is Mage Bane armor. This equipment gives Jaya a much needed power and toughness boost. It also protects her from her own board wipe ability. Finally, we have Repercussion. With abilities that deal damage and plenty of available red spells that do too, Repercussion is an effective way to quickly take over a game. Controlling the board begins and ends with interaction. If you can't influence what your opponents are trying to do, it will be difficult to win. Heavy damage effects like Price of Progress and Blasphemous Act punish your opponents for ramping hard or playing creatures. Copy spells like Increasing Vengeance and Reiterate enable you to use your opponent's own removal and counter spells against them. Here are a few creatures that make for great additions to a Task Mage deck. A convenient way to take out or severely weaken indestructible threats is Soulscar Mage. He's an efficient 1-drop creature who turns the damage Jaya can deal into -1/-1 counters. Next up is Fire Servant, a budget-friendly elemental who doubles up the damage your spells deal. And finally, there's everybody's favorite cuddly friend, Stuffy Doll. Stuffy is great at one thing, annihilating one unfortunate opponent. Number 4, Neheb the Eternal. You know the commander's got to be good when his typing is Zombie Minotaur Warrior. Neheb is a mana-producing, burn spell-slinging powerhouse. An optimized Neheb deck should be hell-bent on destroying opponents with massive burn spells and overwhelming attacks. Neheb is not a commander for the weak-willed. Nicol Bolas said it best. This is what glory looks like. Based on Neheb's ability, it makes sense that the spells you pair with him should focus on damaging your opponents. The more life they lose, the more mana you gain. Let's start with Flame Rift. When paired with Neheb, this card should read, pay 2 mana, gain 12 mana. Next is Pyrohemia. This enchantment allows you to torch your opponents for as long as there are creatures alive on the board. Don't forget everybody's favorite ogre, Shrek. My bad, I mean Heartless Hidetsugu. A simple tap of Hidetsugu can generate you up to 20 mana. Easy money. What if mana just isn't enough and you want to beat your opponent's faces in instead? Lucky for you, Neheb can create infinite combat phases with Aggravated Assault. And if you're truly evil, I'd also recommend land destruction spells, like Ruination. Card draw spells like Commune with Lava and Browbeat are normally overlooked. However, when you have a commander that thrives on damaging opponents and can generate huge amounts of mana, these both become solid spells. Last on my list of Neheb must-haves are Banefire, Comet Storm, and any other red spell with an X cost. Also, don't forget Strionic Resonator. This crafty little tuning fork can double up the mana in your pool, and make spells like Banefire and Comet Storm that much stronger. Who says burn is only viable in modern? Number 3. Za De Hedren Grinder. Za De Hedren Grinder is a highly underrated spell-slinging commander. Her ability is very powerful when paired with the right spells. Cards that wouldn't have a place in any other commander deck are quite useful alongside Zada. An optimized Hedron Grinder deck should be built around storming off and casting an ungodly amount of spells. Based on her spell-slinging prowess, Zada takes my number 3 spot. Two bargain bin staples that Zada loves are Expedite and Crimson Wisps. Both of these spells can give a horde of creatures haste and draw you a ton of cards. Now that's 50 cents well spent. Don't forget about our good friends Young Pyromancer and Guttersnipe. With all the instants and sorceries you'll be casting, you might as well create a token army and ping your opponents at the same time. Guess what time it is? Combo time! Twin Flame and Dual Caster Mage fit together like peanut butter and jelly. Simply cast Twin Flame, then flash in Dual Caster Mage. When Dual Caster enters, use its ability to copy Twin Flame. Now you can repeat this loop over and over, making an army of Dual Caster Mages. Now let's take a look at two spells that fit the Zada Storm theme, Empty the Warrens and Aetherflux Reservoir. Empty the Warrens is all about creating a massive goblin army. A deck full of spells to sling brings a horde full of goblins to fling. Then there's the ever-popular Aetherflux Reservoir. This beast of an artifact makes for an easy way to one-shot vaporize your opponents. Now all you need to do is cast a ton of spells. No biggie. Last but certainly not least are Past in Flames and Mizix Mastery. What's the point in only casting a spell once when you can cast it multiple times instead? Having the ability to cast spells from your graveyard is highly coveted in a Storm deck. Number 2. Daretti Scrap Savant. Daretti checks in at number 2 on my list. It could be argued that the Scrap Savant deserves the number 1 spot. Whatever your opinion on Daretti is, his ability to enable artifact combos like no other mono-red commander can is undeniable. His strongest feature is enabling you to discard artifacts, then bring them back from the graveyard to play. When you see a Daretti deck, you should expect a well-oiled machine, capable of comboing off at a moment's notice. If you're looking to make the most brutal Daretti deck possible, Metalworker is the robot you need. The amount of mana this little guy can produce is just insane. Another robot friend I like that's a little more budget friendly is Scrap Trawler. He can help you revive artifacts that your opponents worked so hard to destroy. The best of the bunch though is Goblin Welder. Having the ability to swap an artifact you control with an artifact in your graveyard is amazing. What's even cooler is being able to do it to your opponents too. Best part about building around Daretti is the variety of cards you can use. Great Furnace and Ichor Wellspring are both useful artifacts that can be purchased on a budget. I'm also a fan of Scrap Mastery and Spine of Ish-Sa. Scrap Mastery can throw off your opponent's artifacts and revive yours at the same time. Spine of Ish-Sa is a solid removal option that helps take care of things Red normally struggles to remove, like enchantments. No artifact combo deck would be complete without the infamous Mycosynth Lattice and Darksteel Forge combo. This beastly combo enables you to use cards like Nevinral's Disc to destroy everything your opponents control, including their lands. Number 1. Purphoros, God of the Forge. Seizing the top spot is none other than Purphoros. God of the Forge is absolutely dominant when built to his full potential. In group commander games, he can quickly overwhelm everyone at the table purely through his 2 damage ability. Purphoros is also incredibly difficult to remove. Oftentimes, he's a nasty, indestructible enchantment that your opponents just have to deal with. If he becomes a creature, suddenly they're faced with a hammer-wielding god who's more than capable of beating face. Making a lot of tokens is fine and dandy, but we want more than that if we plan on winning quickly. Impact Tremors and Goblin Bombardment are great places to start. Both are staples in this strategy and shouldn't be overlooked. And Harmonicon is not only a favorite card of mine, it's also fantastic with Purphoros. It doubles the damage his trigger does and puts your opponents on notice. Fortunately, Mono Red has a ton of ways to make tokens. Tempt with Vengeance and Firecat Blitz are two easy ways to flood the board. Or you can go the tried and true route of Goblins. Goblin Matron lets you tutor for any goblin. Why not use her to grab Kranko? Everyone knows the mob boss. Alongside Purphoros, he's an all-star. Don't forget your Skull Clamp either. Gotta keep that hand full of cards. You can also go the infinite creature production route, if you're looking for fast kills. Kiki Jiki combined with Zealous Conscripts is a classic example of this. Did you like this video? Do you want more like it? Then hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Also posted some helpful deck lists of the commanders featured in this video for your reference. You can find those in the description below. If you want to be a part of the society in between videos, come hang out with us on Facebook and Twitter. Stay classy, deck builders. We'll see you next time.